Hello everyone, I am Halivinisa and I am MA B.Ed. Welcome to my class and I am available through WhatsApp. I am looking forward for the classes online meeting. Now come to the major divisions, that is the geographical and the physical features of a land have divided into the major landforms and major relief divisions, that is the Himalayas, the Indo-Gangetic plains, the peninsular plateau, the coastal plains, the deserts and at last the islands. So, we will discuss about all these the major reliefs of India, how it is divided and what basis it is divided and what are the main process and what are the main resources of this major divisions we will see in detail. First, we will go with the Himalayas. The Himalayas. First we will go with the Himalayas. The Himalayas ranges run in the west-east direction from an arc of its distance about the 2400 kilometers. Their width different from the 500 kilometers in the western region to the 200 kilometers in the central east region. Here, it is a border in a western region. Here you can see in a western region. There are also the altitudinal variation across the regions. Obviously, it will be. Why? Because it is a folded of a land and it forms the different forms of a land. After that, through the folding and through the processing and the melting, all these things we will see in this topic only. How the Himalayas are standing and how it is working and how it is responsible for the changing of climate, we will see in this. Okay. The Himalayas compress to the three parallel ranges. These ranges are separated with the depth values and the extensive plateaus. Okay, the northernmost range is known as the Greater Himalaya or the Himadri. This part. Imagine that and see that the northern ranges is known as the Greater Himalayas or Himadri here. Okay. This range is most continuous, consisting of the highest peak with an average of elevation of about the 6100 kilometers above MSL, means mean sea level. Okay, here the Greater Himalayas are composed of ice and glaciers. Glaciers means the snow and the river and the mass of a river which is to throw the movement of climate. The Greater Himalaya are composed of snow and ice cover. The glaciers are found here. The seasonal cycling of accumulation of ice and movement and the melting of glaciers are the source of the perennial rivers. Here you can see that the portion of the Greater Himalayas, which is called as Himadri, is mostly covered with the ice and the glaciers due to the weathering and due to the accumulation of movements and melting of these ice are the source of the perennial rivers. The portion of ranges found to the south of the Greater Himalayas is called the Lesser Himalayas. Means this is the part of the Himalaya. Just imagine, this is the greater and the part of the southern direction, it is called as the Lesser Himalayas. Okay, which has most rugged relief. Rugged relief means here the stones or broken or rocky area which is having the rocks. Okay, broken rocks. These ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed rocks and the heights of ranges from 3700 to 4500 kilometers. The Brinjal and the Mahabharata ranges from the important ranges of this region. The ranges which is very important to the southern of the Himalaya, which is called as the Lesser Himalaya, is consist of the Brinjal and the important Mahabharata ranges are formed here. The Lesser Himalaya ranges consist of the famous valleys like Kashmir, Kangra, Kulu and Himachal Pradesh. These regions are well known for the many hilly stations like Shimla, Mussoorie, Nainital, Ranikand, etc. are covered by the evergreen forests. as we know, located at the Lesser Himalayas, which is covered this area, these states. Getting? It's a rough diagram, but you can imagine and you can understand and you can notice that how the area is covering and which area is called as Lesser Himalaya and which area is called as the Himadri or the Himalayas or the Greater Himalaya. Okay, as we see in this picture, this shows the typical vegetation in the Himalayas area, and the mountains has been divided into the 5 levels of elevation. Some of the main types of trees as shown here. You can observe in this picture how the mountains are vegetating. Now in this picture, observe that the narrow steps valleys are formed in Sikkim area, which is covering the Lesser Himalaya. And see and identify the trace forming on Himalayas and the pebbles on the drainage. Here the pebbles means the small stones which are surrounded by the water or which are surrounded by the sand. Now see and observe this picture that the valley in Meghalaya, you can see that how it is greeny, how it is full of forest. This consists of many vegetation, trees and many weather conditions are there. Now have a look on this picture showing the levels of the mountains, how it is going and how it is dividing into the level. Level first, see the vegetation is there. At the topmost of the mountains, we can see that that area is covered with the ice and the glaciers and the vegetation. Sometimes it is very useful for the changing of climate and changing of weathering, but most of the time it is covering the highly area and it is stopping the warm winds which is coming through the other side of the land. Now come to the second level, see only grass is there. That is the area which is covered through the grass is coming through the mountain and it is very lesser to the mountain. Okay. Now see on the level third, which is confers that some trees are there, some vegetations are there which is opposite and parallel to the mountains. Next, see the area and the level of 4, that is the broadleaf trees, and they are absolutely an opposite to the mountains and they are coming down to the land area and the lesser mountains. Okay. After that, at last the level 5, that observe that terai region. Here the terai means the self-service grown trees which they do not contain any farming, any agriculture, any cultivation. They will grow at their own service and self-service, which is most of the time in the forest only. Self-service growths of plants are called as a terai region. Mainly it is the plain and it is below to the mountains. Getting? The southernmost range of Himalayas called as Shivaliks. After the Greater Himalayas come to the Lesser Himalayas. After that the most ranges that is situated and located in the Himalayas are called as Shivaliks. Shivaliks extend over the width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have an altitude varying between the 900 to 1100 meters. These ranges are having a different names in different regions. Jammu Hills in Jammu region, okay, and Misari Hills in Arunachal Pradesh, Chachar in Assam, and etc. How the hills are dividing their areas and the physical features, they are having their own names. Which region they are covering, they are named as per their region. Okay. Now this parts consist of thick gravel and alluvium soil. Why? Because they are forming in these areas at the Lesser Himalaya and they are called as Shivaliks. So the valleys lying between the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivalik range are called duns. Just like this. So we are seeing this is the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks. Between these two areas, the duns are formed that are namely as Dehradun, Cotyledon are some of the most permanent dunes in this region. The easternmost boundary of Himalayas is the Brahmaputra Valley in Arunachal Pradesh. And beyond the Deleng Valley, the Himalayas take a hairpin to bend the south and act as the eastern boundary of India. Here, how it is folding and how it is act as a boundary, eastern boundary to the India country. Okay, act as the eastern boundary of India and run through the eastern straits. Okay, these divisions are known as Purvanchal. The mostly composed of sedimentary stones, and regionally the Purvanchal are known as Patkai Hills, Naga Hills, Manipuri Hills, Khasi Hills and Mizo Hills, which are covering the eastern states of India. Naga Hills in Nagaland, Manipuri Hills in Manipur, Khasai and Mizo Hills in Mizoram, Patkai Hills as in Purvanchal. Getting all these covering the eastern states from the Arunachal to the Mizoram. The formation of the Himalayas influenced the India's climate in various ways. Of course, just now I tell. This acts the barrier protection the Great Plains of India from the cold winds of Central Asia during the severe winter. Okay, the Himalayas are the reason for summer rains and the monsoon type of climate in the regions that are beyond the Western Ghats of India. Here, at the western side, and it is protecting the India Greater Plains from the cold winds of Asia, which are coming through like this, and it is act as a boundary to the cold winds, and it is saving the Greater Plains of India from that, and it consists to the weather change and season change, and it is also act as a India's climate. In its absence, this region would have remained drier. The Himalayan rivers have a perennial flow since these are fed by the glaciers and bring a lot of silt, making these plains very fertile. Here silt, again the things which are coming from the flow of water and making these plains very fertile. I think you have already seen that when the waves are coming through the water, they will bring different type of things, sand, soil, small stones, sometimes shells we can see that, and sometimes rocks also, and sometimes some aquatic small animals and small insects will be come through that, and the silt here is sometimes it will bring the minerals to the shore also. Okay, and this silt has making these plains very fertile. When water is coming again and again, what will happen? When rain comes and land become very wet, continuously it is raining, what will observe? Land will very fertile and it will convert it into muddy, okay, muddy soil. Like this only, that shores, that beaches, that area, that physical plains are also becoming fertile through the glaciers that bring a lot of silt to the land. Get it? Like this, the Himalaya is divided into three kinds and three types, that is Greater Himalaya and Lesser Himalaya and Shivaliks, which is act as boundary from north to east, and which is act as the protector from the cold winds which is coming through the Asia, and it is act as a climate changer to the India. So we have completed the Himalayas.